The world is boiling over, and while the headlines keep repeating the same worn-out themes, something much bigger is happening behind the scenes. Something that few are noticing, or perhaps something they don't want you to see. Donald Trump, biblical prophecies, promises of peace, and the destiny of Israel. These all seem like scattered puzzle pieces. But what if I told you that these pieces are coming together in a way that could change everything? If you feel that something is different, that global events are accelerating like never before, it's no coincidence. World leaders talk about peace while tensions rise. Negotiations take place but never last. And in the middle of all this, one figure divides opinions, sparks hope in some, and fear in others. Donald Trump. But there's a much bigger issue at play than just politics. Some see him as a peacemaker, others as a ruthless strategist. But what if this story is deeper than anyone imagines? Have you ever noticed how certain events seem to follow a pre-written script? As if there were a pattern repeating itself throughout the centuries. The scriptures speak of a time when a leader will arise with promises of peace, only to bring chaos. But are we living in that time now? Or is all of this just a massive coincidence? Let's explore every detail, every connection, every piece of this puzzle. Get ready, because after reading this, you will never see the world the same way again. The Trump factor. Donald Trump's election was not just a political event, but a true turning point on the global stage. His firm, often controversial rhetoric came with the promise of stability in a world constantly on edge. To many, he embodied the figure of a relentless negotiator, someone capable of sitting at the table with historical enemies and somehow striking an improbable deal. After all, who would have imagined that a businessman with decades of experience in real estate would become a key player in world geopolitics? But here's the question. Is this quest for peace genuine, or are there hidden layers to this story? If we look closer, we see that the peace Trump seeks is not just a matter of goodwill. The conflict between Russia and Ukraine, for example, goes beyond mere territorial disputes. It is a clash between forces vying for global dominance. Trump understands that a prolonged war weakens both the United States and its allies, and his pragmatic approach suggests that he seeks solutions that bring direct benefits to his nation. In the Middle East, the situation repeats itself. His relationship with Israel was one of the pillars of his administration, and the pursuit of a lasting agreement in the region was not just a diplomatic matter but a strategic move. Now, let's be honest. How many leaders throughout history have tried to solve global conflicts and failed miserably? From the Treaty of Versailles to the Cold War, humanity has witnessed countless promises of peace crumble under political reality. And this is precisely where an intriguing question arises. Why does Trump seem so obsessed with this mission? Does he see something others don't? Or is there an even deeper motivation connected to something much bigger than just agreements between nations? The prophetic perspective. Since ancient times, humanity has sought signs about the future. And if there's anything that sparks curiosity and a certain chill, it's biblical prophecies. Among them, one stands out. The coming of a charismatic leader who promises peace, security, and prosperity but ultimately brings destruction. Many scripture scholars watch today's political movements closely, trying to connect current events with these ancient omens. Trump, with his sharp rhetoric and ability to divide opinions, raises an important question. Could he be part of this? The sacred texts speak of a time when a great leader will emerge to unite nations under the promise of stability. However, this peace will be an illusion, merely a prelude to a period of great tribulation. Looking at recent events, some see alarming parallels. Seemingly impossible agreements, unlikely alliances, and increasing global tension. Israel, the epicenter of many of these predictions, remains a key piece on the geopolitical chessboard. And the most intriguing part? The biblical narrative suggests that everything could happen quickly and unexpectedly, catching many off guard. Are we on the brink of something monumental? The question that remains is, are we truly on the verge of something grand? Or is this just an exaggerated interpretation of the facts? History has witnessed many misinterpretations of prophecies, but it has also proven that ignoring them can be a fatal mistake. The feeling that the world is heading toward a major climax has never been stronger. And what if all of this is just the beginning of a much greater plot? where the conflicts between nations are merely pieces of a far deeper and older game. From the moment humans set foot on Earth, conflicts have been part of their essence. Wars are not just battles between armies, they are reflections of human passions. Greed, pride, and the desire for power. All of these have always been present in human history, shaping empires and toppling civilizations. The Apostle James warned about this in his letter, explaining that disputes are born within the human heart itself. And when this thirst for dominance escalates to the level of nations, the result is devastating. Just look at history. Every fallen empire has left behind traces of blood and destruction, the illusion of lasting peace. The world is a chessboard where every move can change the fate of millions. The war between Russia and Ukraine is not just a territorial dispute. It is a duel of global forces, where each side has interests far greater than what is seen on the surface. Russia, with its history of regional dominance, does not want to lose influence, while NATO seeks to curb its expansion and strengthen allies. Amid all this, Trump appears with a different vision. He believes he can negotiate peace pragmatically, without the traditional methods of diplomacy. But would his approach actually work? The Middle East, a land of history, faith, and blood, remains a region where religion, ideology, and political interests intertwine in an almost impossible knot. Trump, during his administration, tried to change the game, strengthening ties with Israel and brokering deals like the historic Abraham Accords. But did that truly bring stability to the region? The reality is that the world has never achieved lasting peace. The Bible, however, has always been clear. True peace will not come from political agreements or diplomatic strategies, but from God. Jesus, known as the Prince of Peace, taught that the world's peace is fragile, whereas his peace is unshakable. So, does it make sense to place all our hopes in earthly leaders when history itself has already shown that none of them have fulfilled that promise? Now that you've seen all the connections, prophecies, historical events, and political maneuvers, the inevitable question is, what will you do with this knowledge? Will you ignore the signs and carry on as if nothing is happening? Or will you open your eyes and prepare for what's to come? The truth is, most people choose the comfort of ignorance, but few have the courage to see beyond the obvious. History is unfolding before our eyes. Do you want to be just a spectator, or someone who truly understands what's happening? Maybe it's time to strengthen your faith, to dive deeper into the study of Scripture, to observe the world more carefully. After all, those who understand the times they live in are always one step ahead. And you? Are you ready to face the truth? If this content opened your mind and made you see something new, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with those who need to know, and of course, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to keep learning about these topics. Believe me, there's still much more to be revealed. See you in the next video.